My name is Trueblood. I'm going to be doing my research video about racism in sports. Racism in sports is as old as the world is today. There's been racism in sports ever since the first Olympics, the first football game, the first basketball game, the first baseball game. No matter the sport, there's been racism in it. I'm only going to talk about a few sports, a few teams that have countered probably the most memorable racism in their history. These teams and these players face controversy, face adversity every day that they played, but they played because they loved the game, and they played to try to break barriers for not only themselves, their families, their brothers, but also the people who play after them, because they didn't want them to face the same scrutiny, the same adversity that they faced while they played. The people that we talk about are Jackie Robinson, and of course the Negro League, which he played in and got his start in baseball at, the Harlem Globetrotters, and then I'll touch on a few points that happened in present day sports. First off, the Negro League was started by a guy named Andrew Foster in 1920, and it fielded 8 teams. These 8 teams mostly were in the northeast area, from Chicago to New York, as far as Tennessee. And that other leagues, other divisions, kind of like how they are set today, developed from what the Negro League started. It started off first with 8 teams, and in 1931 it faced financial pressures, so it kind of had to disband, not really as big as what it became. And once this happened in 1931 and Mr. Foster wasn't able to fully take on the burden of all the financial responsibilities they had before, a man named Gus Greenlee took over. And from 1933 to 1949, he made the Negro League pretty much what it is, or is remembered today. He brought it to a new level, brought new teams in, new management, that kind of stuff. And once it disbanded in 1949 is when pretty much the color barrier had been broken by Jackie Robinson, and other MLB teams were picking up the players that were no longer playing the Negro League, the best players. So they got picked up in the major leagues, and that's pretty much was the end of the Negro League. Touching back on Jackie Robinson, who is by far the most notable black player to probably ever play the game of baseball, he was the one who broke the color barrier, and he got his start in sports not only at a young age, but where he started getting noticed at was UCLA, where he where he played football, basketball, baseball, and track and field. Baseball was by far his best sport, and was picked up in the Negro League and played there until he caught the eye of the Brooklyn Dodgers, and they sent him to their minor league affiliate, where he played there for a year, and then he got picked up by the Dodgers, won Rookie of the Year, won countless MVPs, All-Star games, all the big Gold Gloves, all the big awards, and he's remembered today on Jackie Robinson Day, all MLB teams with their players were number 42. So he'll be remembered for life. For basketball, the Harlem Globetrotters is one of the most biggest, exciting spectacles in basketball. They've played over 20,000 expedition games in their 85 years of existence, and they got their start in 1926 playing before dances at the Savoy Ballroom. So that's how they got their name. Start off with was Savoy Big Five before they called it the Harlem Globetrotters. And they've had countless, numberless big name players. Will Chamberlain, Meadowlark Lemon, Connie Hawkins, people of this sort. And they faced adversity when they first started because they were an all-black team. So white people went there, made fun of them, that kind of stuff. They had a hard time finding big venues to play in because of this. And they also caught scrutiny from African Americans too, because they thought the white people were just making fun of them, and they were just using their talents to make money, and that kind of stuff won't really help anything. But as we found today, they've made millions and millions of dollars for what they're good at. And basketball is a huge sport, not only here in the U.S., but also worldwide. And we owe a lot to the Harlem Globetrotters. In present-day sports, racism isn't as much publicized, or you don't really know much about it anymore. And one of the things that happened recently that kind of brought light to racism is still in sports is Richie Incognito for the Miami Dolphins, and the things that he started, things that he said, making players pay him money, bullying them, jokes, that kind of stuff. So that kind of brought back to light that racism is still a problem in sports and never really went away. And it probably will never go away, but it'll just be brushed under the rug because these athletes are paid millions and millions of dollars for what they do. So their ownership and everything's going to try to hide the bad part about them. But that's my speech. Racism will never go away. It's always going to be a part of sports. As bad as that is, it's the truth. So in conclusion, sports are a great thing, but racism is no part.